Maria! Alright, so Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has been out for a weekend now, so let's dive into some spoilers. This is gonna be my last spoiler talk of 2024. I was honestly planning on making one for Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim, but I just didn't have the time. December being what it is, I was so booked. But gotta talk about Sonic, so spoiler warning, if you haven't seen this movie yet and you're planning on it, then I suggest zooming away, because I will be talking about what happens in this movie in detail. If you have seen it or you don't care, then stick around, you are good. Alright, so the movie starts out, it's funny, at Prison Island. Real original name there, guys. This is where Shadow awakens and escapes. It's great though, like right off the bat we got some Easter eggs, because we see while Shadow is in his stasis, we get the flashbacks of Maria playing her acoustic guitar, and it's Live and Learn. Just right there, I was like, that's great. Live and Learn is actually gonna have some significance in this movie. Now the song Live and Learn, for those of you who might not know, that's the main theme from Sonic Adventure 2, which is a game in which Shadow made his first appearance ever. The song's a pretty big deal for Sonic fans. It's one of the most famous Sonic songs. I mean, it's right up there with Open Your Heart and the Sonic Heroes theme. Those are my top three, by the way. But yeah, Live and Learn in this movie is awesome. I will get to more on that later, boy will I. And the Sonic music in this movie, yeah, it is a lot more prominent. Like Sonic's first scene, he's racing against Tails and Knuckles, who are actually holograms. And when he's all like, yeah, I won, you hear that victory jingle, the classic one that I love. My friend actually noticed that before I did, though. But I love that jingle. Fast forwarding a little bit, we get to that first big action scene in Tokyo. Man, this scene is just so awesome. And there are some throwbacks to the games in there. Like when they're in the gun helicopter and they jump out, Sonic says one of his classic lines from Sonic Adventure 2, where he's like, talk about low budget flights, no pizza, no movies, we're out of here. Yeah, that line is from the games. I didn't even know that, but I looked it up, and so yeah. To be clear, I never had Sonic Adventure 2 when I was younger. I had Sonic Adventure DX, but I do remember playing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle at my friend's house. This is like way back when I was a little kid. So I have some memories with it. I certainly remember Shadow's backstory with Maria. That stuck with me. Back to the action. After Shadow kicks all their asses, and Sonic is there and he collapses in front of Shadow, I was like, yeah, they did that in the intro to the Shadow the Hedgehog game back in '05. I remember watching that as a kid and being like, that is hardcore, that is dark. Love that that was in this movie. Although I will say it is a shame that they didn't include the song I Am All of Me in the soundtrack of this movie. Alright, maybe they're saving it for the Shadow spin-off series that is inevitably gonna happen. I can be patient and wait till then. And so that leads to the motorcycle chase, which is awesome, because Shadow's got his sci-fi laser gun and he's shooting at Sonic, and they're teleporting all over the place, they're going up the building. That was just a thoroughly entertaining and impressive action sequence. It was awesome, I got nothing bad to say about it. And so at the Chow Garden, one of the top 10 places to visit in Tokyo, according to Tails. That Commander Walters guy comes down to visit, which is funny. Like when he sat down, my audience started laughing, because it was just a funny visual to see this military guy sitting down in a restaurant like this. And so he explains how Shadow has been on Earth for at least 50 years, because that was one of the biggest questions I had. Turns out he arrived in a meteorite. Oh, okay, that's easy enough, but I gotta think about this. What if that meteorite was sent by Black Doom? Because after all, in the games, Black Doom had a little something to do with the creation of Shadow in the first place. I think it would be pretty cool if the Shadow spin-off series brought in Black Doom, because if for nothing else, he has one of the coolest evil voices ever. Just saying. But then the place is attacked by egg drones, and that Walters guy, he's been in all three movies, and he dies right here. Which, I mean, of course, I had no emotional attachment to this character or anything, but I was still impressed because I was like, oh, okay, so this movie will actually kill characters now. They're not afraid to do that. Props. And speaking of gun characters though, gotta touch on Kristen Ritter's character, Director Rockwell, because a lot of people are saying that she was wasted in this movie, and I do agree, she absolutely was. And I say that because at a point in the movie, while I was watching it, I couldn't help but think that it would have been really cool if Director Rockwell was like a human disguise for Rouge the Bat. Because like, think about it, Rouge the Bat, she's a jewel thief. She's like Catwoman, but for Sonic's world. She would have fancy tech, so I don't know, maybe she had something that gave her a disguise, like a holographic disguise, kind of like the holographic things that they had in this movie. So I don't know, maybe Director Rockwell was Rouge's disguise. And I had that thought because Kristen Ritter would be perfect casting for Rouge.
Am I wrong?
Her voice would absolutely fit. I don't know, maybe they'll still do that down the line. Like how General Swanwick was actually Martian Manhunter in Zack Snyder's Justice League or something. I wouldn't be against that for this character. I'm just saying, I'm just putting the idea out there, because that'd be cool. And so Agent Stone shows up, which gotta give a shout out to that character and the actor Lee Majub. Love that guy on social media. And he leads Team Sonic to Dr. Ivo Robotnik, who, yeah, he's alive. Yeah, duh. Meanwhile, Shadow is back at the old lab, and he starts reminiscing about his past. Alright, let's just talk about the whole thing right here, because we gotta dive into this. We Sonic fans, we already knew what went down. It was like one of the biggest talking subjects when we were hyping up for this movie. So in the past, Shadow befriended this little girl named Maria, who was another grandchild of Dr. Gerald Robotnik, meaning she would have been Ivo's sister, I guess? But anyway, the two of them form this really strong bond because Maria actually breaks through to Shadow emotionally. And they build up that bond, and you're supposed to really, like, attach yourself to it, but but honestly speaking, they could have done that a little better in this movie, not just with a montage. Alright, granted, it's not just a montage, but, you know, still could have had the emotions sink in a little more. Because when Project Shadow was put on ice, the soldiers come in with their guns, one of them misfires and hits a tank of, looked like fire or whatever that was. There's a big explosion and Maria dies in the accident. Yeah, the one good thing in Shadow's life is now gone. That's what gave him all of his pain. That's why he's so dark and brooding. Which, yeah, I know, that is different from the games a little bit. In the games, Maria died because she was actually shot by the gun directly. Like, the bullet hit her. They didn't want to get that brutal in this movie, which I understand, so fine. Death by explosion instead. Still gets the same point across. And like I said, we all knew this was coming. Funny thing is, I've heard some people say, you better not be cheering when the kid dies. My audience didn't cheer, but I could imagine. So then we get the scene where Ivo Robotnik meets his grandfather Gerald, and then the Jim Carrey-ism just gets out of control. This movie really is Jim Carrey's swan song, because I imagine he is officially retired now. So yeah, I imagine they just let him do whatever the hell he wanted to do. So he's got some great lines like, "It's like we're two characters in a movie, played by the same actor." I died laughing at that. I was like, really? The fourth wall breaking meta joke? Alright, I guess this movie's breaching into Deadpool territory now. That's unexpectedly awesome. And like later on, when Knuckles is like, "I'll break the glass in case of emergency," then it cuts to Sonic, he looks right at the camera and he's like, see, he gets it. I love that. But then the goofiness gets a little out of control in my opinion, with the Robotnik's whole reconnecting montage set to the Beach Boys, cause of course. Yeah, this was the moment where I was like, I could go without this much ridiculousness. Some people might disagree with me, that's fine, this is just my opinion. Yeah, that was kinda dumb. Although the silliest, most stupid scene in this movie for me was the laser dance. I mean, their spandex suits already look purposefully stupid, and the way they're dancing around, you're like, alright, you got two fat guys in spandex suits dancing with lasers. They're all like, "My finger is on the button. Push the button." Catchy song, but that really was the moment where I was like, okay, I think I've had enough. I mean, I will still watch the scene for a good laugh, and I get it, this being Jim Carrey's swan song, they let him do whatever the hell he wanted. I'm sure this must have been his idea. Maybe. I don't know. For me, the funniest Jim Carrey scene in any movie will always be Ace Ventura. Just kills me every time. Let's move on in the movie. So we're in London, we're at Gun headquarters, and alright, Tom and Maddie are there, and they have their little holographic disguise devices that Tails invented, and so they make themselves look like Rachel and her husband Randall, which I thought was actually a really clever way to get those actors into this movie because, yeah, they were contractually obligated, but the characters themselves are not in the movie, they're just used for disguises. I thought that was really smart, and it was funny. Got a laugh out of me when Tom is all like, "Welcome to the gun show." Or how about later on? This is hilarious, when Maddie makes herself look like Director Rockwell, and she's all like, "Did it work?" And Tom's like, "Ooh, yeah." Then she just whacks him. I died laughing. I thought that was really funny. I'm still laughing thinking about that moment. But eventually Shadow gets to them, and while Tom looks like Commander Walters, Shadow knocks him out, knocks the wind out of him too. Oof. So in this movie, it's Tom who spends a good amount of time knocked out, whereas it was Tails in the last movie. But Tom turns out he's in pretty bad shape, and this pisses Sonic off. This is actually really cool, because Tom being, you know, the rock in Sonic's life, kind of like his Pa Kent, now he might be dying, so now Sonic is filled with that same vengeance and rage that Shadow has had for Maria. So there's a great parallel there. So this is great. Sonic is pissed, and he's like, "Alright, Knuckles, where's the Master Emerald?" Because only Knuckles knows where it is, which is a great way to hide it, by the way. And this exchange of dialogue between Sonic and Knuckles, I love this. Because Sonic's like, "I'm not asking you again, Knuckles." And Knuckles is being the best warrior ever, saying, "Vengeance has consumed you," quoting Black Panther, but you get it. I kind of would have loved to see them fight as a result of this, I'll be honest. But instead, Knuckles calms down. He's like, "Alright, fine. We swore an oath together, so I'll trust you. But to get to the Emerald, you gotta get through its guardian." And I was like, oh no. Yeah, it was Wade. I was like, god damn it. Good news though is that Wade is only in this movie for about 30 seconds. That actually made me really happy. And so Sonic gets the Master Emerald. He becomes Super Sonic again because we all knew he would. And so he goes up to stop the Eclipse Cannon. Now the Eclipse Cannon, yeah, this is from the games as well. It's from Sonic Adventure 2, the Space Colony Arc and all that. And it's gonna blow up the world. Great dialogue here between the Robotniks when Ivo's like, "I thought we were family." And then Gerald looks at him and he's all like, "Oh, Ivo, you're no Maria." We as an audience, we were all collectively like, damn, that is cold. And then they have their weird fight with the mechanized appendages, like the bug claws or the big nano fist, which really funny line right there. When Ivo's all like, "Oh, nano fist. Haven't seen one of those since I hate watched Green Lantern in 2011. That one got me. That was good. But now let's get to the good stuff. Because Super Sonic shows up, Shadow goes out there to meet him, and so yeah, they both get the chaos energy, and so yeah, we have Super Sonic and Super Shadow. Because again, we all knew that that was gonna happen. So this shot, yeah, he's actually Super Shadow in this shot. It's awesome. And again with the parallel, Shadow can see it plain as day. He's like, "Yeah, you're consumed with rage. Now you know how I feel. You want revenge." And so they're fighting, and it's an awesome fight. They're fighting with the power of gods. It's like Man of Steel, it reminded me of, where they're fighting across the world and they're in the air and they're just punching each other. Totally Kal-El versus Zod in Man of Steel. But then, of course, they have their little heart-to-heart talk. on the moon. And again, right there, I was like, okay, I know they're aliens, so we don't know how their anatomy works, but there's no oxygen up there, so I'm pretty sure they would be dead, but whatever, it's a kid's movie. It's fiction, so I'll roll with it. I'm sure stuff like that has happened in the games too. I don't even like the fact that they're always referred to as aliens anyway. Can't they just be referred to as anthropomorphic animals? It's just easier. But anyway, yeah, now we come to the moment where Sonic and Shadow, they team up with the power of the Master Emerald and they go fight off all like the mechanized egg drones, like the egg robots, which, oh my god, yeah, and of course Live and Learn's going on in the background because it had to in this scene. This is the crowd-pleasing moment right here. This is what we were all waiting for, and we were all cheering. It was badass. And Sonic's all like ready to recycle some tin cans. Shadow's like, just try to keep up. I was like, yeah, let's do this. Live and Learn! They're just zooming all over the place, and it becomes this really awesome, epic Live and Learn score. Tom Holkenborg, I'm telling you, VIP right there. And of course, they gotta finish with that awesome classic pose right out of the game. That was so awesome. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. This is why, like, they know what the fans love and what they want, and so they just give it to us. Cause look at it this way, these Sonic movies, they actually have a pretty tricky job. They have to appeal to the Sonic fans who have loved this franchise since the 90s, while also appealing to the kids of today. That's a really tough line to walk, so I don't envy these movies' writers at all. And I'll say at least the last movie and this one do that job really well. Although I will say, Gerald Robotnik's death, although it was pretty childish, it was also pretty hilarious. Ivo comes up behind him, sticks the quill right up his ass, and he goes flying, he's all like, ah, and he goes through the lightning, he's all like, and he's just gone, just zapped, just like that, like with a tiny noise. That was like funny in an anticlimactic kind of way, which actually ended up making it climactic. It was good. It was unexpectedly hilarious. And so they all stop the giant death laser by pissing on the moon. Yeah, unfortunately, I know that reference. And Dr. Ivo Robotnik gives his life to save the world by staying in the space colony arc as it blows up. And this scene, he's like live streaming to the world, which again, another solid reference to the games. And he's like, Agent Stone, you are more than just a sycophant. You are my sicko friend. Again, Jim Carrey being pretty much officially retired now, I'm pretty sure. I see this scene as Jim Carrey's goodbye to all of us. This is his send-off, man. So for me, that just makes this scene even more emotional, and I love his final line. It's been a real drag. Thanks for nothing. Perfect. Genius. Bravo. Most likely, definitely improvised in classic Jim Carrey fashion. In the words of Sonic himself, 10 out of 10. No notes. Oh, and I guess Shadow was up there too. He sacrifices himself, which we all knew. He's fine. So yeah, the space colony blows up. Everyone returns to Earth safe and sound, including Tom. And so yes, that means we have victory! Alright, let's zoom to that mid-credits scene, cause oh my god, it's a long one too. It's like at least a few minutes, which, you know, I'm not complaining. After Team Sonic's little celebratory race, Sonic overreaches, he ends up in New York, and Metal Sonic shows up. I was like, alright, pretty solid logical step to take for Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Metal Sonic. So in the games, I remember Metal Sonic from Sonic Heroes. He was created by Dr. Eggman to rival Sonic. Not sure how they're gonna spin that in the next movie. We'll have to see. But then we see not just one Metal Sonic, but it's a whole army of them. I was like, okay. Didn't see that coming. I don't know if there's ever been an army of Metal Sonics in the games. Although I will say the CG in Metal Sonic could have looked a little better in this, I'll be honest. Like when I say Metal Sonic looks like he was ripped straight from the video games, I mean like it looks like he was ripped straight from the video games. Yeah, it was a little weird. But it's okay because they're about to ambush him, but then this hammer comes out of nowhere, knocks them all out with this pink blur. I was immediately like, it's Amy Rose! Yes, that's right, Amy Rose has arrived. Again, another obvious logical step to take for the next movie. Now, just in case you don't know who Amy is, in which case I'm flattered you're watching this video, she's another hedgehog from the main cast of characters in the game. She's been in the franchise forever, and she's most prominently known for being just completely head over heels in love with Sonic, to an almost annoying degree. And the funny thing is, Sonic never reciprocates her feelings. It's kind of a one-sided thing. So she's always chasing him. They play it up for comedy. It's funny. But you know, over the years, she has grown into more of a strong female character. She's always had that hammer, the Pico Pico hammer, because it's Japanese. She's actually a really fun character. So yeah, bring her into the movies. What's she been doing in New York, fighting Metal Sonics? Gotta see what that's all about. And of course, the post-credit scene shows that, yeah, of course, Shadow's alive. Told ya. There was never a doubt in my mind. Again, either he's gonna show up in the next movie, or he's gonna have his own spin-off series. Either one's fine, but I am kind of hoping for a series, because I want a story to focus on him, and actually focus on him. I'm talking to you, Knuckles series. Have it be awesome. I mean, it's Shadow. We want more Shadow. In conclusion, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, it was awesome. It had all the fan service that I wanted it to have, and then the stupid stuff with the laser dance. I would have called this a great conclusion to the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trilogy if it wasn't announced like a couple days before this movie came out that Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is coming out in 2027. Which, hey, you know, that's cool too. These movies are good. Keep them coming as long as they're this good. In fact, make them even better. We got Metal Sonic and Amy coming, so how bad could it be? Then again, we're not gonna have Jim Carrey in it, so there is that. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Which movie is your favorite so far? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!